Hello Techies. In our previous session, we have learned how to work with add a new row to selected environment action and we have inserted some data in it. Now, in this session, we will learn how to work with list rows from selected environment action. Before that, let me switch to Dataverse tables by using make.powerapps.com. In our previous tutorial, we have inserted the data into the products table. There you can see I'm having the data in such a way: product ID, product name, product price, and product category. And we have inserted some data into it. Now in this session, we are going to work with 4 simple scenarios. The first scenario is that I want to retrieve or I want to get all the rows from the Dataverse table, that is products table. That is my first scenario. The second scenario is that I want to retrieve the data only from the columns such as product ID and product name. How can we go ahead and do that? Third one, I want to retrieve the data based on sorting product name descending order, in descending order. So there you can see I'm going to product name, and then you can see over here I want to descending order. In such a way, I'm going to select get to A. Then you can see I'm going to get all the records in descending order, right? This is the another scenario. Now, the fourth scenario is that I want to retrieve the data based on filtering product ID column where product ID is equal to 2. There you can see I'm going for the product ID and then I'm going to select filtered by, and then you can see over here filtered by I'm having equals, does not equal, contains, and many other options are available, right? Now my scenario is that product ID equal to 2. Then you will get only the records that are product ID equal to 2. All these 4 scenarios we are going to work in this session by using Microsoft Dataverse action, which is list rows from selected environment. Alright, let me drag and drop list rows from selected environment action onto the workspace. This list rows from selected environment action retrieves all the rows which are available in the particular table, that is Dataverse table. In our scenario, we have created products table in dev environment, right? In our previous session, we have seen how to establish the connection between Power Automate Desktop and the Microsoft Dataverse by using connection references. Now, I'm going to select the environment, that is dev environment, where we have created the table, that is products table. Let me select that. This is our first parameter, that is environment. Now coming to the second parameter, that is table name. What is our table? Products tables is the entity name, right? I'm going to click on drop down and then I'm going to choose the table, that is product. There you can see the entity name we got it, that is product tables. Let me select that. This is our first scenario. What is our first scenario? We want to retrieve all the rows which are having in the products table, right? I have selected the environment, I have selected the table name, that is product table. Now, whatever the output that we are going to get it from this action, the output will be stored inside our variables, that is list records with the organization response. All right, let me click on save and then let's run the flow to see the output or to retrieve all the rows from the table. Flow execution started. There you can see it is trying to retrieve all the rows from the products table by using list rows from selected environment. The selected environment here is that our dev environment. Flow has executed successfully. There you can see I'm having flow variables with data, that is list records with organization response. Let's double click on that to see the output. There you can see in the list records with the organization response, I'm having OData context, that is metadata, and the entity name. What is our entity name? That is table name, that is product tables, right? And there you can see the remaining properties such as create multiple, delete multiple, and update multiple, along with that upsert multiple, that we can see insert and update at the same time. But the main property, that is the value. Now, in our Dataverse table, we are having 5 records. All these 5 records will be available in this value. Let me click on more. There you can see I'm having 5 items with starting index with 0 to 4, right? Now we'll see the records over here by clicking on more. There the main columns. There you can see product price as 1000 and the type is decimal. Another one, product name is a television. Product category is electronics. Product ID as 1. In the same way, we can get the remaining rows over here in the index 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright, let me click on close. This is the first scenario to retrieve all the rows from the dataverse table. Now we'll go for the second scenario. What is the second scenario? I want to retrieve the data only for the columns product ID and product name. How can we go ahead and do that? By using list rows from selected environments action. Let's double click on that. There you can see I'm having advanced parameters, right? Let's expand that. There I'm having the parameter that is select columns. Now what is our scenario? I want to retrieve only product ID and product name columns over here. How can we go ahead and do that? There by using select columns, right? Now in the select columns we are going to give the product ID and the product name, but the scenario we have to give in such a way along with the schema we have to give it. Now let's go back to the Power Apps and then I'm going to click on edit and then I'm going to click on edit table properties. So to get the schema of the table, I'm going to the advanced option inside the properties of the table. And there you can see the schema name CRF15 underscore product table. So whenever you are going to get the columns also, you are going to use the same schema, that is CRF15 underscore, and then you are going to give the column name, that is product ID and product name. And one more thing you have to observe, I'm having the space between product and ID, right? Whenever you are going to give the column name, you don't give the space over there inside our select columns in Power Automate Desktop. Let's go back to the Power Automate Desktop and there you can see I'm going to give the columns, that is CRF15 underscore. This is the schema. First I have mentioned the schema. Another one is the column. What is the column name? That is product ID, comma. I'm going to give the second column, that is CRF15 underscore product name. Now this is where we are going to select the columns. The first column is that CRF15 underscore product ID. Second column I'm going to give with comma separated, and then CRF15 underscore product name is my second column. Now if I'm going to give this parameter, what will happen? It will retrieve the data only related to the product ID and product name with all the rows, because we are not filtering the rows over here, right? Let me click on save. Now let's run the flow to see the output, which we are going to store the output inside my flow variables, that is list records with organization response. Let's click on run. Flow execution started, and there you can see it is trying to retrieve only the column, that is product ID and product name, by using list rows from selected environment. The flow has executed successfully. Now let me show you the output by clicking on flow variable. Now we are going for the values inside my variable, and then I'm going to click on more. There you can see I'm having 5 items, but inside this each and every item we are having only 2 columns. Let's click on more. Now if you observe, I'm having product ID and product name, because we are trying to retrieve only product ID and product name columns, right? And apart from that, you can't see the remaining columns which we are having inside our table, that is products table, correct? Let me go back once again, and then I'm going one more item. Let's click on more. There you can see I'm having product ID as 2 and the product name is washing machine. All right, let me click on close. Now we'll work on the third scenario. What is the third scenario? I want to retrieve the data based on sorting product name descending order. How can we go ahead and do that? Let's double click on the list rows from selected environment, and there I'm going for the advanced parameters, and there you can see I'm having sort by parameter. Sort by parameter in descending order. So this sort by will works on the OData filtering option. What is the column name for the descending order? I'm going to give CRF15 underscore product name is my column, and the order is descending or ascending. If it is ascending, we are going to give it as ASC. If it is descending, then we are going to give it as DESC. Now our scenario is that we have to sort on the descending order based on the product name, right? I have given sort by CRF15 underscore product name underscore descending order. All right, let me click on save. Now let's run the flow to see the output for product name descending order. Flow execution started and the flow has executed successfully to sort the product name descending order. Let me show you the output by clicking on list records with organization response flow variable. And I'm going for the values. Let's click on value. Now I'm having 5 items again here, right? But the first item should be in the descending order. So in our output that will get the first item, that is product names in descending order. So in our table we are having washing machine, right? Let's click on more. There you can see the first item we got it as product name as washing machine because we have given in descending order. Let me go back and I'm going to click on second item. There you can see second one is the television. And in the same way, third item, there you can see I'm having pizza. These records have been sorted in the product name column with the descending order. All right, let me click on close. Now we'll go for the fourth scenario. That is, I want to retrieve the data based on filtering product ID column where product ID equal to 2. So we are having only one record in the dataverse table, that is products table, with product ID as 2. How can we go ahead and we can retrieve it? I'm going to double click on the list rows from selected environment and then I'm going to click on advanced. There you can see I'm having the parameter filter rows. To filter the rows, I'm going to give the OData style over here. What is the OData style? OData stands for Open Data Protocol. Is an open protocol that allows the creation and consumption of queryable and interoperable REST API in a standard way. We can use OData filter operations over here. What is the column name that we are having it? The product ID is equal to 2. I'm going to give the column name over here and then I'm going to give OData filter operation, that is equals to stands for EQ. And then what is equal to 2? So I'm going to give in such a way column name, filter operator, and then the value I'm going to give it. There you can see I'm going to give the value as 2 in single quotes. The reason is that product ID is there in text format inside my data table. That's why the text I have given it in single quotes, right? In OData, I'm having different types of filter operators are available. First one equals, that is EQ, does not equal, NE, that is not equal, greater than, that is comes as GT, less than LT, greater than or equal to GE, less than or equal to LE, AND operator we will give it as AND, OR operator we are going to give it as OR. In some cases, if we want to search for the substring, we are going to give it as contains and the value, and we will give the column name over there. These are all the operators which we are having in OData style. All right. Now in our scenario, we are going to use equal to, and then I'm going to give the column name, and then the value I'm going to give it. All right. Let me click on save. Now let's run the flow to see the output. Flow execution started, and we are retrieving the data by filtering product ID using list rows from selected environment action. Flow has executed successfully. Before opening this one, that we are having only one product ID inside our table, correct? Let me show you that by clicking on flow variables. And there you can see I'm having the values. Let's click on more. There you can see we have retrieved or filtered only one record based on the product ID column. Now we are having one item. Let's click on more. There you can see the product ID, the value is 2 and the product name is washing machine. And we have filtered our data based on the product ID, correct? Let me click on close. I hope you understand how to work with list rows from selected environment as part of this tutorial. Along with that, we have seen 4 different scenarios to get all the rows as well as to retrieve only the data for product ID and product name column. The third scenario we have seen how to sort product name based on the descending order. And fourth one, we have filtered product ID column where product ID is equal to 2 based on OData style.